What's going on, everyone? Ollelito back here with a brand new video on the channel. Today, guys, as you've seen by the thumbnail, as you've seen by the title, today we have a new formation, tactics, roles, whatever you want to call it video, where I will showcase you guys my 4-4-2 tactics that I've been using recently. I switch a lot between 4-4-1-1, 5-2-1-2 and 4-4-2, but lately I've been enjoying this 4-4-2 formation a lot, and I'm going to show you today why. So let's just jump into today's video. Okay, so as we always do at these kind of formations video, we start off with the team. And in the 4-4-2, I think it's super important to have two really good center halves in terms of center backs then. If you don't know what center halves is, I mean center back. So Mickey van de Ven is the first one. Very quick, very strong, very good in defense, very tall. And Van Dijk, I would say, is kind of the similar. The only thing that he is lacking to Mickey van de Ven is basically pace, of course. Overall, he has better defending and physique, and he also has that aerial playstyle plus, which can be really good for corners. So, I mean, if you want to find cheaper options for these two, I would go with, for example, this guy. I think is absolutely insane for the amount of coins I managed to actually buy him for on the RTG. Dragusin, I think he's fantastic, and I think you can pair him up with anyone else from Premier League that has a lot of pace on him. If we look at Dragusin's card, for example, 83 pace, 84 defending, 85 physique, with not a lot of playstyles, but still has ping pass actually, and bruiser, but also aerial in white. He's simply fantastic, and for 15 to 20,000 coins, he's an absolute bargain. So I would say if you guys can afford Dragusin in form, which I think most of you guys should at this point in the game, get him, and maybe get gold Van de Ven as two center-halves, because they are simply fantastic as a center-back duo. Right back option could be a bit more tricky. I'm playing with Dalot at the moment, as he is from the Premier League. I'm not really a big fan of him. I bought him for 242,000 coins. Cheaper options, of course, Hakimi. I think he's fantastic for that kind of price tag. Can also go with Frimpong Gold. I was playing with this Champions League card. Wasn't really a super big fan, but I still think his gold card and the Champions League card is, of course, good enough. So there's some cheaper options for you guys as well on the right. For the left side, I mean, the best player in this year's game, Theo Hernandez. He is unreal. I never played with a better gold card in my whole FIFA career, I think, on any game. Theo Hernandez is just a cheat code and fantastic. Cheaper options, Davies, of course. I don't really sub in a lot. I don't really sub Davies in a lot because Theo is... He can just play for, like throughout the whole game. That's the most important thing. He is so goddamn good. But if you guys want cheaper options, I think Davies is a superb left back in this year's game, or even Mondi from Real Madrid, for example. Looking into center midfielders then, you want some... I mean, you want to do that one that can go forward a bit and the other that can defend, but or maybe can actually be a box-to-box, be both. And in my case, I mean, Putellas is... We gotta be honest, she is better going forward than defending, and that's why I play her. She is also left-footed, so we can perform a few trivelas from the left-hand side. I score a few of these with her. And with Valverde, if you guys have seen a pro gameplay recently, you see that it's a lot of power shots in the game. And I think that can also upset a few people when you score them, especially from outside of the box, so that's why I'm playing Valverde. And of course, Valverde can defend, but he can also go forward. So I'm playing him as like a box-to-box midfielder, and Putellas as a more of a playmaker kind of CM. Wingers, you want to look for something that can change a game. So Ginola, fantastic. He is superb on that left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, I play with Salah, actually. I have his loan card at the moment. And he also has that finesse shot plus. So when you face up against 5 at the backs, for example, it's very important to have these kind of playstyles in the team. And I think this is a very important part of the video, because I'm actually trying to show you guys good options for wingers. And for wingers, you want to mainly look at pace. Also, physicality, I think, is important, because then you won't, or most of the times, you will get bullied by Theo Hernandez anyway. But if you have a more stronger winger, they can actually hold off to you and, you know, make the team push up a bit more. Then you can start to play on the opponent's half. Then for the strikers, look for pace and finishing, main part. I mean, in terms of budget for wingers, you can go with Rodman on the right. I think she is absolutely fantastic this year. Swanson on the left, I think, is also really good. And in general, you have a few options if you look at my RTG, for example, where I play with cheaper players. Strikers, I mean, pace and finishing in general. Liao, I think, is superb. A lot of pro players that don't really have the coins for Mbappe and R9 play with Liao, and he is an absolutely menace to play against. He is fantastic. And cheaper options than him, Rashford, very good. And I mean, there are some players in general. So if we go into the tactics then, this is going to be the most important part of the video, of course. We go to team management. And if we look at 4-4-2, I have it as called 4-4-2 false 9. And if you remember my last video where I was playing the 4-4-2, I was actually playing with a false 9. The thing I do here though is that Ginola is not on winger. Ginola is going to be on inside forward, actually. No, Ginola is going to be on winger and Salah is going to be on inside forward. Mainly because we want Salah to be a bit more central of the pitch, as if he is a bit more central of the pitch, we can use that finesse shot to our advantage as much as we can. Dalot should not be on fullback, he should be on wingback, because you see on that green mark that he goes forward a bit, and this one is a bit more defensive, but we want our wingbacks to be a bit more attacking in the 4-4-2, and that's why we use wingback on them both. For the center backs, we use defender for both of them, and then for Courtois, you should always use sweeper keeper for any keeper in this game. For the CMs, we have box-to-box on actually Valverde. Even though I don't really want that, I would probably go holding on him because he should be a bit more of the defensive-minded midfielder. And then for the Pyjamas, we have box-to-box on her because she can actually go back and forth. Then for the strikers, we have advanced forward on them both. As I said last time, I was actually using false 9 with Mbappé, but I don't really think that's working too well, so I'm using advanced forward at the moment. The thing you can do also, you can make focus attack to complete instead. That means that he moves more to R9 or maybe moves more out to the wing, so, you know, trying to open up some space for the team basically. And if we switch view, this is how the team will look when we have the ball and trying to build up. And I mean, you have a lot of space on the left side, and that's why I play winger on Ginola, because if you have a bit of problem playing out of the back, first of all, look at the how to build up video on EFC 25 that I posted like 5 days ago, or a week ago maybe now. But more importantly, Ginola will always be on the wing. So if you find a fullback, you will always be able to play Ginola on feet, and he is also the guy who can actually hold off defenders and then try to make the team push up a bit more. So that's why I'm playing winger and inside forward on the team basically. And this is the team. I think it's these tactics are working wonderful for me. I'm playing build up style balance. Defensive approach will be high as I want to press my opponent very, very high up the pitch. And now we're going into some few clips. Why the 4-4-2 is this good? So if we show this clip in the background, for example, we I know I used this clip before, but this is basically why the 4-4-2 is so good. Because if I do the play lock here to my Pyjamas, I can find Ginola here, and if you look at the minimap, Ginola will have plenty of space. Of course, I've sent Frimpong, and I'm going to play this pass to Frimpong, but you see how easy it actually is to build up in the 4-4-2, because you always have options either on the wing, and especially if you play one of the midfielders as winger, so it will be very, very easy, as I said, to build up on that kind of side. So the thing I do, of course, I send Frimpong here. I managed to, you know, get the ball to him, and I think this is easier to do in a 4-4-2 as well, because it's easier to send like a fullback. Even though we don't score, we create a lot of chaos and asking some questions to the opponent. That's the most important thing in this clip, for example. This is also a very, very good clip of the 4-4-2. You see, if you're able to counterattack very, very well in this formation, you have plenty of runners. As you see here, I have R9 running, but I also have the other side open with Ginola. The thing I do, though, is going to be a secret pass. If you guys want a tutorial about this pass that's coming now, let me know down in the comments. Absolutely insane, right? Finding R9 and scores to make it 5-0. That's basically the 4-4-2. It's very, very good in terms of counterattacking. And of course, after this clip is done, we get a rage quit. One thing that's also really, really good with the 4-4-2 is that if you manage to send all these players by creating space for yourself, by pressing L1 towards the player you want to send, is going to be you have a lot of options. And you will be able to perform this first time through ball, which is super, super effective, especially if you play players that play 70 depth, because the team will automatically push up then you can play the first time triangle in behind, and you will have plenty of space to work with. So the thing you do, okay, I send Mbappé here, for example. I pressed L1 towards Mbappé. I find, almost trying to find a pass, doesn't matter. We managed to get the ball back though, and the thing I do, I send Ginola, but then at the same time I send R9. And the thing is, R9 is going to make this run in between the pocket of space, which you always want to find, as I've talked about in previous videos. The thing I do, I send R9, as you see, he's putting his arm like this, going forward. The thing I do then, L1 triangle, in behind, my opponent can't do anything, and then we're using the secret cross again, to kill Mbappé, to score it, to make it 3-2 in a very, very tough weekly game as well. So this 4-4-2 formation, I absolutely adore it, because you have the wingers, the width of the team, you have 2 strikers, which you can combine with and especially score goals like this, but you also have a 4-man defense, which I think is more traditional if we go back in the days of the games that's been published. I think the 4-4-2 simply has everything. Of course, the only downside with it, and I'm going to show you this now, this is basically the only downside with 4-4-2 at the moment. So here we have the only downside of 4-4-2. If your opponent is good by playing through the middle, and often if you face a 4-5-1, a 4-1-2-1-2, a 4-3-1-2, they will outnumber you in midfield. So the thing you do to make the team a bit more compact is that you need to drag in the wingers a bit more to the pitch to make it even more compact. Because you see here, I'm playing foot with Josita, a good player from Spain here, and he was really, really good at exploiting this space inside the middle of the pitch. So he was always having one more number than players than me. You see how much space he will have here. And this is basically the only downside of 4-4-2, even though I would say put Matteo in a great position there. It doesn't really matter, as he was able to play through my team very, very easily, and you will see it in the upcoming play. For example, he has the winger, for example, himself there. He plays a 4-4-2 himself, I believe. Even though I pressure play pretty good here, we don't really get rewarded for it. But the thing you need to do, you need to be able to pressure play really, really well. And at the same time here now, he takes the ball on the inside. almost fine, says Mbappe. But the only thing, as I'm trying to explain to you guys, why the 4-4-2 is a bit vulnerable in defense is because it's quite open, because the strikers are not really coming back, which leaves a lot of space in the middle. So you need to be comfortable with play switching, or in general trying to use your center midfielders to defend. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment something nice down below if you're new around here, and just wanted to say thank you so much for the support, guys. You guys are the greatest. On the road to 60,000 subs. Can we get it next week? Hopefully we can. As I said, thank you so much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye bye.